The Chinese should realize that actual implementation of these tariffs would be a very big cost for them, a very bad deal for their role in the world. The problem is it would also be bad for us. The Chinese would retaliate, our economy would be hurt, not helped, and there would be no gain for anybody. So hopefully the Chinese will respond to the second part of what President Trump said today, his willingness to talk about the issue. The precedent here is Europe. When the president threatened the Europeans with auto tariffs, the Europeans came to the table when they were here in Washington last week. They agreed to negotiate trade liberalization, zero tariffs, non-tariff barrier subsidies. All that is underway and would move trade in the right direction, a positive direction, rather than negative. I hope the Chinese will join the party. If the Chinese do the right thing, they will now say they are willing to put their serious trade barriers on the table, talk about reducing them, head off the risk of putting in new barriers. Otherwise, the Chinese will retaliate against us. The United States will not gain. A trade war would tank the U.S. economy by 1% to 2%, raise unemployment by 1 million people or more, cut economic growth by a significant amount, and really be bad on all counts.
But would it tank the Chinese economy by more than that? I mean, at 6.7% growth, 1 or 2%, perhaps they could stomach, or would it be much worse for them?
Well, they would be hurt more than we would in absolute terms. But as you say, they come from a much higher base and can afford it. In addition, they are much more flexible in engineering offsetting measures. The Chinese government has authoritarian power. They can expand their stimulus measures, more fiscal spending, more bank lending from their central bank and others. They can offset any adverse effect to their economy from the trade war, as they are already doing. So they can compensate much better than we can. They come from a much higher base, and in any event, it's silly to talk about who gains or loses more from trade wars. Everybody loses. And as I said, the U.S. would lose substantially. We do it at a time when our economy is going to be slowing down. The growth we just reported for the second quarter of this year is a high watermark. It's a spike. U.S. growth is going to be dipping in the second half. It's going to be dipping more in 2019 and subsequent years. If we add to this with a trade war, it's going to hurt our economy substantially more and push it down at a faster pace.